I love my mother. In fact, I'm a little obsessed with her. I think many gay men have that in common. It's because we have very conflicting relationships with them. You know, love and hate, sweetness and sorrow, truth and lies. And that's especially true in my case. Because although I was born in Kenya, I've lived most of my life in England. I'm a child of the West. My mother, on the other hand, is an Indian Muslim woman to the core. In fact, she'd be appalled to see me standing here in front of you, dressed in my underclothes. So I'm going to get dressed now. My mother never really used to question me or my life, until she found out that I'm gay. And now she questions everything. She always wants to know where I am, what I'm doing, who I'm doing it with. And even though I live here in the US and she's 10,000 miles away in Kenya, we have a very special connection. It's more than just apron strings. It's a 10,000 mile long umbilical cord. It's unbreakable. And she reinforces it by sending me letters. One almost every week. Letters like the one that I'm going to read to you today. This particular one was written on the occasion of my departure from England to come to the US for the first time. Whenever I open one of her letters, the first thing I notice is her handwriting. It's always the same, always fine and strong. And then, as I read her words, I have the extraordinary sensation that all the blood is flowing out of my body back into her womb. My dearest Beta Shaffiq, I hope that you are well and in good health, both physical and spiritual, with Allah's grace and mercy. We are all fine here. In fact, we've just finished eating dinner. As usual, the food was marvelous. I feel so guilty that I should be eating so well when you have to fend for yourself. We all miss you very much, your grandparents and I. It was such a joy to have you with us last June. I can hardly wait for the day when you are finally done with your studies and can come back to Kenya and take care of me in my old age. Life is much the same in Mombasa. The heat is terrible. In fact, I sleep most of the afternoon and just let the servants run the house. They're very efficient. Ruki works miracles in the kitchen. And John is the best houseboy we've ever had. Even though last week he threw away my dentures accidentally. But don't worry, I have another pair, so there's no problem. Your friend Sunita had invited me to her wedding last month. It was a grand affair. There was music, hundreds of guests. The food was delicious. Everybody asks about you. How is Shaffiq? You must be so big now. Still not finished with his studies? Oh. When is he coming home? When are you getting him married? Well, I look at them and I say, who can say anything to young people nowadays? He's a doctor now, working in London. He will get married when the time is right for him. Inshallah. But sometimes those words stick in my throat and I wish the ground would just open up and swallow me. Oh, my son, why have you brought this shame down upon my head? Why have you filled my heart with such heaviness? Can you feel it as I'm writing this?
Beta, you have to understand the issue of responsibility. Everybody in our family looks up to you, especially the children. Everything that you do or say counts for so much. Beta, please listen to my words. Don't just throw them aside. I don't want to hear any more nonsense. Like, I am what I am. There is nothing I can do. I can't help it and I can't change myself. Arey, you can change. And with the right attitude of mind, you will. Beta, what you are feeling now is nothing more than sexual lust. I'm sorry to be so crude. I feel ashamed to sully myself with such words, but it is the truth. This temptation is a test of your resolve. Desire is on one side, and duty and devotion is on the other. One will put you in hell. The other will earn you God's favor for eternity. And now you must choose, as I have had to choose. Do you think that in the 25 years since your father died, I have never looked at another man with sexual feeling? Of course I have. No one is immune to temptation. But a long time ago, I decided to close my mind to that desire. I still mourn my husband. I honor his memory and cherish my sacred white sari. And you must do the same thing. Either you get married, you live in chastity, like a monk. Oh, my son, I wish only good for you, nothing but good. Day and night I cry like a small child, begging God to forgive you. But you have to help yourself. You have to change your ways. Start by throwing out any literature that connects you to that life. Empty your cupboards and your drawers. All the while, recite this prayer. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Ask God for strength and He will help you. Get rid of all your other paraphernalia. Throw them out. Show your disgust to those things. Do not meet with your men friends. Break all relation with them. They are like Satan, trying to lure you and taunt you and tempt you. But if you ask for God's strength, their poison will not work against you. Most of all, I beg you, do not go to America. If you go there, you will only sink further and further into this evil, because America is evil through and through. But this sex life of yours is only for another 20 years or so. What will happen to you then? I shudder to think, my son, lost and lonely and wretched. I'm sorry to go on like this. I know I hurt you and I do not mean to. I just can't find kinder words to express how I'm feeling. And I'm so frightened of losing you. I realize now, I should never have left you alone in England. I cursed myself for being such an ignorant fool. I blame myself for not having a stronger influence over you. Tari maa, કોઈ વધારે શક્તિવાળી ચરિત્રની માં હોત તો આજે ક્યારનો ઠેકાને પહોંચી ગયો હોત. If this mother was a person of stronger character, you would have found your true place long ago. This is not your true place, beta. And I have failed. You may not agree, but that is how I feel. I feel as though I gave you up for adoption to a Western stepmother. And only now do I realize the cost. Perhaps this is a punishment for my folly. Sometimes in my despair, I want to beat my head against the wall. But then, my faith returns, and I know that God will grant me another chance. I will end now better, with a prayer that the Almighty may always continue to guide you, and one day show you the truth of His light. Take care of yourself, my son. Eat well. Write to me when you can. With love overflowing. Mummy. "10,000 miles away, in Kenya, it's early morning. My mother will awaken soon to say her prayers, as she does every morning. And then perhaps she'll sit down and write me one of her letters. And I will wait for that letter with dread, because as usual, I won't know how to respond.